Yo, welcome back to Tech Jacket. We are where we left off from the last issue with the Geldarians arriving on Earth. They tell him that they're going to take him back to Geldaria for a trial. Zack tries to question them, but the yellow armored Geldarians shout silence while electrocuting him, causing him to pass out. Zack then hears a loud thum. This causes him to wake up and he sees that he's restrained to a wall. Before a giant hole rips through the side of the ship, his tech jacket immediately senses the danger and covers his whole body in armor. He then sees the yellow Geldarian come running into the room, telling his crew to protect what's left of the ship while he taxis the prisoner out of there. Zack asks what is he doing and where is he taking him. The time for declaration will come at your trial. Until then, remain silent. But of course Zack doesn't listen. He asks what is going on and what happened to the ship. The Geldarian tells them that they were attacked by a crashed battleship, and they are going to taxi him to Geldaria since they are arranged for that procedure. He then presses a button and takes out an orange device, telling Zack that this will take him the rest of the way. They are in battle now, and he's due for trial soon, and they cannot risk his demise. Zack says he can't really argue with that. The Geldarian punches in some coordinates and tells Zack that he should arrive in Geldaria soon. He sends him on his way and returns to the fight while Zack watches amazed. But suddenly during the scuffle, one of the crushed guns fires and destroys the device meant to take him to Geldaria. He looks at his hands and says, "I'm free to..." Crap. He realizes that the Geldarians are his only way home, so he decides to help them out. He easily blows through the Kresh forces, absolutely blitzing them. Everyone is astonished by what they just saw, including the Kresh. Zack even questioned himself on how he did that. He then locks in and destroys the rest of the Kresh soldiers, throwing the last guy into their battleship, causing a massive explosion. They all stare at Zack before the yellow Geldarian says that no being should possess that much power. Zack figures that they are his only way back to Earth, and although he's not too keen on this whole trial thing, he's willing to participate if they promise to take him home. The Geldarian tells him that much is unclear at the moment, his trial included, but he will speak on his behalf, telling them that he's seen nothing but courage and valor from him. He surely saved the lives of his soldiers. He then tells Zack to come along. They have much to discuss on their way back to Geldaria. As they arrive on Geldaria, Zack speaks with the Geldarian Emperor. He tells him that his story corresponds with the Chronicle of the Tech Jacket, proving that he did not kill the previous Geldarian that owned it. He also gives him his deepest gratitude for choosing to save his captors instead of fleeing. But still, he broke their first decree, which is, only children of Geldaria can wield the Tech Jacket. Although it has been rumored that the sacred decree has been meant to protect them because their race has evolved to the point where their bodies are essentially useless. They are technology advanced to the point where they lived lives of leisure, and over time their bodies became shriveled and they shrank. Seeing their weakness as they developed, their scientists devised a way to counteract their body's weakness: the Tech Jacket. They are attached to them at birth. They grow and mature with them. They specialize and learn as they do so it can better aid them in day-to-day activity. A warrior Tech Jacket like the one that he possesses is specialized in the art of battle, which is why such combat skills came natural to him when his transport got attacked. Due to their physical differences, a Tech Jacket on him is much more powerful than it should be. His speed and strength has been enhanced exponentially, nearly 100-fold in fact. The decree's true purpose is believed to prevent somebody as powerful as him. However, these are dire times. They are at war, and they have a great use for him even though it would mean breaking their most sacred decree. One of their ranks have offered to train him if he's willing to aid them. They enter the training room and the Emperor introduces the yellow Geldarian as Khanda, saying that he believes they already met. Khanda tells him that it's good to see him again, pausing for an introduction, and he introduces himself as Zack. But then Zack questions on how they can even understand each other. He can tell that what they're saying and what he's hearing are two different things by how their mouths are moving. The Emperor states that all Tech Jackets are connected to a database there on Geldaria. It only took a few moments for his Tech Jacket to gain a rudimentary knowledge of his language. That information was sent in the same form as the signal they used to track him, and it spreads to all other Tech Jackets. His language is now one of the thousands stored in their database. The Emperor then tells Zack that he has much training to do before taking his leave. We then cut to a classroom as the instructor gives some history on the Kresh. She explains that the Kresh homeworld had an extremely dense atmosphere and a high gravitational ratio, and when their homeworld was destroyed by their own masseuse, they were forced to create containment suits because they would naturally exist as gas outside their own environment. Because of this, there are many weak points in their armor that allowed them to incapacitate them almost immediately. Any breach in their containment suit will cause the entity inside to dissipate and lose consciousness. They have yet to determine if they can survive being dissipated. Their scientists are currently, but before she could finish, Zack says excuse me and asks if they had any bigger desks. We then move on over to the Finnish instructor as he tells the group of Geldarians and Zack they are all aware that their Tech Jacket is fueled by multiple sources, one of those sources being the kinetic energy from twitching your muscles. The denser and stronger your muscles are, the more your Tech Jacket will be able to lift, leading you to become a more efficient warrior, and that's why he's there, to show them the proper and most efficient way to gain muscle mass. He then says that he's pretty sure that they have all noticed that they've been blessed by the presence of their savior, This alien giant supposedly has more potential to effectively use their tech jacket in every which way. Zack stammers over his words before the constructor asks him to satisfy his curiosity. He's going to set the lifter to the highest setting, and if everything they say about him is true, he may be able to make it budge. Zack gets set up on the machine and says that he'll give it a shot, but he doesn't think he'll be able to do it. He then pushes and accidentally rips the handles right off the machine, surprising everyone in that room. Zack apologizes and says that he thinks he overcompensated. It wasn't that heavy. We then cut to the forest where Konda tells Zack that his eyes and normal senses are weaknesses that he needs to overcome. Zack responds with like he hasn't heard that a million times over the last month. This confirms that Zack has been on Gildaria for at least a month now. Konda then states that the tech jacket has more sensors and targeting mechanisms. He needs to let them go and let his tech jacket do the work. Zack then questions Konda on exactly where he's taking him. Konda tells him that he'll see. Zack begins to walk out into the dirt patch, not seeing anything. He even jokes by asking if they're going to have a picnic or something. But then out of nowhere, he is suddenly bombarded with a bunch of lasers. So he does a Resident Evil style flip in order to evade the lasers, while Konda watches, telling him not exactly. He tells him that the blasts are not lethal, but they are quite painful, and to save him some time, he should go ahead and tell him that the turrets are shielded enough that his blasts will not affect them. If he looks closely, he'll notice a target on the side of each gun. That's what he must shoot. He must let go of his senses and approximate his blasts, and let the tech jacket do the rest. That is the only way out of this. Zack says okay and locks in. He does exactly what Konda says and disables each and every turn. He tries to catch his breath as Konda approaches him, telling him that he thinks he's ready. We then transition over to the inside of a Gildarian battleship, as Zack asks if they are going to be protecting a moon base. One of the Gildarians tells him that the base has been under siege for nearly 2 days. They are there to relieve the soldiers that are stationed there. Another Gildarian then asks Zack if he's the alien that everyone speaks of, the one with the power to end this war. Zack says that's what everyone is saying, but he's just trying to help. He doesn't understand how one guy can end the war. Konda then grabs everyone's attention and tells them that they are going to be approaching the moon base, and they need to prepare for war. They then deploy onto the moon, engaging in an intense battle. Zack starts blasting the Kresh soldiers with lethal precision, ripping right through their armor. He flies through another one before they try and jump him. He shoots one, but the other 3 grab onto him. They try to restrain him, but he's just too strong, and he punches one of their heads clean off their body. They then begin to tighten their grip, so he grabs them and throws them aside. Zack then releases his metallic tentacles and begins to round up all the Kresh soldiers into a ball before hurling it into space. He shoots at the incoming Kresh soldiers, but they just ignore him and begin to retreat. The Gildarians celebrate behind Zack as he says to himself that he hopes all the battles are this easy. They arrive back at Gildaria, where they are giving out awards. The Emperor states that it is with great pride that he bestowed upon the soldier before him their highest battle honor, the Crest of Gildaria. But then Zack notices that one of the female Gildarians is staring daggers at him. So he asks Konda, who is she? He tells him that is the monarch's offspring. Why does he ask? Zack says that she's been staring at him the entire ceremony. Konda tells him that he's the topic of many conversations. He should be used to the popularity by now. After the ceremony, Zack walks down a corridor before being stopped by the Gildarian princess. He asks if her name was Lynn, and she confirms that it is. She then tells Zack that she wanted to wish him luck on his next mission, and if he's as powerful as they say, he will succeed. Zack says next mission. He doesn't even know what his next mission is. He's on his way to find out now. She then says that she may not be able to participate in their war effort, but she does enough spying on her dad to make up for it. She then gives Zack a kiss on the cheek and tells him good luck, leaving him absolutely stunned. Zack then walks into the laboratory where he overhears Konda tell the Emperor that he hopes this mission is a success. The Emperor's response is that this will surely be their only chance for such a maneuver. Zack walks down the stairs towards them and asks what is the secret mission that he's heard so much about. The Emperor introduces him to Dr. Rosa and tells him that he'll give him the details for the mission. Dr. Rosa begins by saying that the Kresh stronghold is in a controlled orbit on the far side of the neighboring planet Theta. I suspect that sensors have been installed on the planet itself. Any attempt to locate and destroy them has also failed. Which brings us to our current objective. They have had a working teleportation device in their possession for nearly a year now. Early models did malfunction, but all the tests on this model have been executed flawlessly. The only problem is without a mirror unit in place at the desired location, it's a one-way teleporter. Konda cuts in and says what he's saying is, they have a way to get into the stronghold undetected, but any soldiers teleporting in will have no way of escaping. The Emperor states that will mean death for any Gildarian teleported in. They had no real way of using the teleporter to their advantage until he came along. Dr. Rosa agrees with the Emperor and tells him that he's proven battle after battle that there isn't much that he can't do. They could easily teleport him into the base, and he could move through the stronghold at lightning speed, causing as much damage as possible, locating any and all defenses to destroy them. If they monitor his tech jacket's whereabouts, they'll know the exact moment he left the base, and that will give them their cue to bring an army within range to destroy what's left of the base. Their mission is in the final stages of preparation. They could execute it as soon as tomorrow. Zack gives them a stern look and says tomorrow is good. We then cut to the next day as Zack re-enters the laboratory. Kanda tells him that he's early, and Zack says that he kinda just wants to get this over with. Dr. Rosa mentions that the teleport is all operational, and the Emperor tells Zack that everything's in place, he can proceed when he's ready. He then reaches his hand through the portal and says, "Here goes nothing," before he's sucked through and crashes onto the floor. He stands up rubbing his butt, hoping that no one heard that. He then begins to survey his surroundings before he is suddenly ambushed by dozens of Crush soldiers ready to rip him apart.